Trying to get everybody up and running here. Apologies, people. Making new moves. New moves. Making new moves, ladies and gentlemen. Making new moves. Hold on 1 second so you can see me shortly. And yeah. Okay. We are live to live here. Let me move this one over here. Uh-oh. No, I lost me. Hold on 1 second. I'll bring you back. All right. How is everybody doing today? It's been an interesting day, interesting developments in the market. Sorry if I'm looking at my right. I got two screens open right now, simulcasting. I hope everybody can hear me and see me. New developments, beautiful day, amazing day. Market is coming back. As a matter of fact, let's check it out real quick here. I don't know, bring myself down a little bit. Let's bring it over a little bit. There we go. Okay. CoinMarketCap.com. A couple of them were coming back. Well, they bounced back. Sure, when I say coming back, I don't mean woo in regard to the transition that happened. But we had a little bounce. That took place here. So some of you may have recovered a little bit. I hope that's not like I don't believe it's a dead cat bounce. I believe in crypto, and I don't mean that in a optimistic, cheesy way. But I really do believe we're going to come back. Neo has really held its place for me in this transition, this market adjustment. It actually still is at the number 6 spot. Earlier today, I posted an article about where you should try to tuck your assets, during this move. I'm sure a bunch of you converted into fiat whenever you started seeing the market go down, and that's cool. That's all right. However, this is one of the main reasons why we talk about HODL and basically why you need to hold. You'll see that often a lot in forums where people are, typing the HODL and whatnot, and that, they're not going to let go of their Bitcoin and stuff like that. And that's more so about the culture of the market. It's not just an obsession. It's really a necessary thing that has to happen in order for cryptocurrency to maintain its viability in this space. Because if everybody says, I'm going to pull out and just convert to fiat, then the value of cryptocurrency as a whole drops completely. The people who hold actually maintain us. They keep it from dropping so far that it takes forever for us to get our profits back. So even if you withdraw some of your funds, you shouldn't be withdrawing all of your funds, because it really messes with the culture of crypto, and also messes with the marketplace. So you're going to see a bunch of weak hands, a lot of people who came in trying to make a bunch of money really fast, at the peak, who are going to jump back out because this thing is going to go down before it goes back up. Those of us who stay resilient, I kept my Neo because of the fact that staking Neo gives me more gas. So if I remove my Neo from the market and convert back into fiat, I can buy my Neo back later on, but I lose the opportunity to accumulate that gas, and the gas is too important to me. Because as the price comes back up, that gas is going to increase in value too, just because I held it. And I had no intention of selling the Neo to begin with, so it's much better for me just to hold on to my Neo And for everybody else who stakes coins too, it makes more sense for you to hold on as opposed to let go. Now, I bought some Ethereum about a couple days ago, so I'm going to wait for that to rise. I want to see how the markets respond before I use that Ethereum to acquire some other altcoins that I've been looking on, or I might even buy some more Neo. I don't know. But Neo was a good hold for me. Ethereum's a good hold for me, being number 2 in the market cap, and now they're talking about Ethereum possibly surpassing this. In the article I listed earlier, Ethereum was the number 1 hold during this time, and Bitcoin was all the way at the bottom for all the reasons I've talked to you about before, in regard to it being an old, aging cryptocurrency technology that does store wealth, but pretty much that's all it's good for. That's all you can really use it for. And there are better technologies on the frontier and on the way. I want to talk a little bit about India. We saw an announcement by India yesterday regarding cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and there's a lot of FUD that was spread concerning this announcement, and this is why you have to really, really analyze the market. These, and also look at things rationally. China is regulating; they're not shutting it down. India is going to regulate; they're not going to shut it down. Okay. They're going to step in because they're going to try to police this currency. They're going to try to stave the bleeding as much as they possibly can, but at the same time, they don't want to be left behind. It's almost like the .com industry. You're not going to sit here and say, to protect the abacus industry, we're going to make sure that calculators, aren't distributed in our country. It would be a stupid move, because meanwhile, everybody who's using calculators is getting ahead of you. These are viable platforms. We aren't just policing currency. They're trying to police a platform and a means of communication between individuals that if they fall behind on, other countries will get an advantage and their money will flood into those other countries. So they're not in a very, very good position if they decide to just bury their heads in the sand. So we're good with that. That's not going to happen. And so, yeah, if you read any of these articles, that's what you read. But what you hear in a lot of the outlets is India's killing cryptocurrency. India is a huge market, and they're going to start busting down exchanges and prohibiting the trade. They're not trying to do any of that at all right now. What they're doing is they're just watching and monitoring the way most of these other governments are watching and monitoring, and trying to police and control and stave the bleeding from their fiat currency into this more valuable cryptocurrency. Because once again, as people are talking about the fall of Bitcoin and Bitcoin's imploding, Bitcoin is still at $8,000. And rumor has it, between 8, it may go a little bit lower, but yeah, 8 is pretty much the price point where we're about to see this rebound. We got the Super Bowl coming out. We got a bunch of projects that are going to be announced via Super Bowl commercials and whatnot. But yeah, spring is rally time. We're about to see this stuff come back pretty hard, especially as we start to hit these deadlines for some of these white papers, and you start seeing the fruition of some of these projects. Cryptocurrency isn't a short-term game; it's a long-term game. That's why you have to think long-term when you're talking about being involved in it. Speaking of that, I want to talk about my channel. Like I said today, as you can see, I have, you may not be able to see, you're either watching me on Facebook or you're watching me on YouTube, but I'm talking to you both at the same time. I've invested in myself, invested in software, and actually studied some techniques in regard to getting my stuff out there, making my presentation more slick, and diversifying my audience so more and more people can get access and become members of our movement. That's what I'm looking at this as. It's not a business opportunity. It's not. I mean, it is that, but it's not just a business opportunity. It's not just a hobbyist channel. It's a means to communicate with a bunch of individuals of like mind who are trying to get out of fiat currency and gain more financial independence via the sale, distribution, trade, and knowledge of cryptocurrency. And so, with that being said, I've got to get out there. I've got to reach more people. I've got to do more things. Facebook has hit 200 subscribers. I want to move some of those subscribers from Facebook, over into my YouTube channel. I want to build my YouTube channel. I want to start offering more opportunities for you all as viewers, because I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all your feedback. I'm starting to receive phone calls from individuals about opportunities and things I can do to help and assist, and I will do so however I can. That being said, shout out to Socrates Fort Low. He told me yesterday over the phone that he's not going to be on Facebook anymore, and I understand. Sometimes people want to take a break from the book, but he still wanted me to be in contact, and he was actually asking me, about the basics. How do I do the basics, Brandon? What do I need? I know I need to get my money off the exchanges, but I need to know how to set up a wallet and whatnot. And so I'm going to set up a series of videos. It's going to be a Udemy course. I don't know what. Right now, it's probably going to be a Udemy course, and I'm going to charge $10 for it. Just $10. Real basic course where I just go over the basics of cryptocurrency, understanding what different cryptocurrencies are, what's a blockchain, what's a Tangle, what is DZBT, whatever the protocol it is that Neo uses and whatnot. What are these different cryptocurrencies and what are they used for? How do I make money off of them or whatever? How do I respect the tech? And then talk about how do you put money into your wallet? How do you create a wallet offline, whether it be on your phone, whether it be on your computer, whether you're a Mac or a PC. The PC stuff I don't know, because I only have access to Macs right now. My PC, at the house, the internet's down. So until I get that internet back up, I'll probably be able to do a PC tutorial necessarily, but the principles still apply, and I'm still willing to answer questions in regard to PC. So I'll probably just be dealing with Macs, since I have access to more Macs in my life right now consistently, and a good internet connection, stable internet connection for these videos. So there's that, and then what are the different markets? How do I move stuff to a market? How do I move stuff between markets? How do I buy? Just rudimentary trading stuff. I'm no stock market guru, but we can talk a little bit about how to get into a market, how to read a market, what you need to do if you're going to make a trade, how to save money on trades to make sure that you aren't getting shafted by Coinbase or whatever, and then how to get your money out whenever you're trying to get it out. I will not be going into tax advice and stuff like that. I'm not a financial advisor, but I will talk to you about things you need to be concerned about come tax time, because every single trade is a taxable event. Now, if you're moving stuff between wallets, that's not taxable. You're still in control of that asset. But whenever that asset leaves your pocket and goes into somebody else's pocket or whatever, that becomes a point where you have to discuss your tax exposure. And so we can talk about that a little bit, but I don't have, like I said, I don't have a tax background, so I won't be going into that in much detail. That being said, so that's one new advance that's coming out is the series of videos. Like I said, it'll be $10. It'll probably be between maybe 5 or 6 videos. I think it's worth my time, for all the questions that I've received and everything, and it's a way to invest in the channel. And then I'll start giving opportunities to individuals in that channel, because that brings me to the second point too. So one of the things that I've had an issue with, and I know a lot of you have, especially in regards to all the new regulations that have been imposed in this country to prevent people from opening up doors of cryptocurrency, is that I know one of the best ways to invest in a crypto is at the ground floor. And when I say ground floor, it's not when it first hits the market, when a cryptocurrency first hits the market or a project is first announced. It's whenever it is at the ICO phase or the initial coin offering phase. Now, one of the biggest problems that we have at the coin offering phase is we don't have the ability to, what am I trying to say? We don't have the ability to invest right now because the Security Exchange Commission, the government has basically said, some of these cryptocurrencies are considered securities because they yield residual income, like Neo yields gas over time or whatnot. And because they operate more like stocks and they need to be policed like stocks. And so a lot of these ICOs are offering these unique tokens that yield benefits over time or function like stocks. They are gun shy about letting Americans invest because they don't want that exposure. They don't want that liability should something go south, should something go wrong. They don't want to deal with, their project failing and then having the government come, for their heads. And I understand that. I get that. And so, basically the government's been playing Big Brother, but I also feel like the government is trying to control what we say, do, who we interact with, and how we spend our money, because there's a lot of people who have been able to make a lot of money by getting in with ICOs at the ground level. If you spend $500, you may get 1,000 tokens. Those tokens, when they hit the market, they're already lucrative, but then you let them grow. For instance, if you invested in Neo at its ICO stage, you would have $116 per token. 1,000 times 116, that's a lot of money, okay? And I don't think it's fair that I believe in you as investors. I believe that you do your research, you're on this channel, you respect the tech, you're doing what needs to be done in order for you to get where you need to get and do what you need to do to make sure that you're making the best profit that you possibly can. You're listening to me, you're reading up on white papers, you're looking at the markets, you're trying to see what the best opportunity is to do your best in this market. And I think that it's a huge disservice for our country to prevent you from doing that. So what I'm looking into doing is I'm setting up an investment group. I'm already helping some people out with their investment decisions, and also, provide technical support and whatnot in regard to understanding how to do certain things. But what I'm also doing is I'm communicating. I travel abroad. I've been, all over the world. Been to South America, Costa Rica, South Africa twice, Botswana, China a couple times. And so, with that being said, I have some contacts, throughout the globe. So while we're behind this ICO firewall, if you will, of opportunity, my contacts in other countries, some of them have agreed to work with me, and I'm reaching out to some new ones as well because I'm trying to diversify, the opportunities. So here's how it's going to work. We'll identify as a group an ICO that we want to invest in. Okay, we will then purchase Ethereum, pool that Ethereum together, and then send that Ethereum to one of my contacts overseas. Right now, it's looking like South Africa for the most part. And then an individual there will collect a fee and purchase on our behalf access to that ICO of choice. Whenever that ICO hits the market and tokens are dispersed, those tokens will return back to you, minus the transfer fee and the tax for setting all this up. We're thinking probably like 20%, 10% on my end for bringing everything together, 10% on the end of the broker who's going to be in charge of entering our funds into that particular project. Everything will be straight up, completely above board. Those people who know me in this group, a lot of you all are friends and family, and I'm not going to do you dirty like that. And I definitely wouldn't just give my funds to somebody I did not believe in or have faith in overseas. That would not be the case. My hope is to minimize the amount of exposure and risk that you have. So from my hands to the hands of my contact to the market, what happens in the ICO, I can't guarantee, I can't promise. If something goes wrong with the ICO or whatever, If funds come back, I'll redistribute them to you. But I want to provide opportunities for people to get into these markets, because not everybody can get into, the stock market with this kind of investment. Not everybody can get into, and then whenever you get into these options, more often than not, you're looking at a market that's pretty established. There's no way you can get the gains and growth out of Google now that you could have received whenever Google first went public. So that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for you all, and that's what I'm going to try to do. And so I'm going to look into the legality of it. It shouldn't be that much of a problem. Pretty much, you're just giving Ether to me. I'm sending Ether over there, and I say Ether because Ethereum is pretty much what's used. It may be a situation where I convert to Litecoin and then have my partner convert back into Ethereum, but I'd like to avoid doing that because if I do that, then the transactions will be what am I trying to say? Then I'll be exposed as far as like transactions, are concerned. So I'm busy trying to plan out the logistics of it to make sure I'm doing it the right way. But that's where we're heading. That's where we're going. Because I feel like there's enough of us here to actually make some serious impact, and eventually at some point, these ICOs will start to pander to us because they know that we're serious, that we actually have, some buying power, and there's a reason to come to us because we can help boost and launch their project. And so the larger we grow this group, the more people you bring in here, this is not a pyramid scheme, it's not a hustle, this is a legitimate investment opportunity that I'm talking to you about right now. I've thought seriously, long and hard, about how to not just make money for myself in this market, but to distribute my knowledge to other individuals and combine that together. With our forces combined, we go out and we actually do some things that can actually transform our lives individually. No one is obligated to participate. No one will be shamed for participating. I expect there to be people with cold feet initially in regards to how this is being done. I recognize there's a lot of people who are in the crypto kiddie pool right now, and there's no shame in that. You should still be learning. You should still be trying to build up your knowledge about this space before you go into some of these ventures. I don't want to have to deal with somebody who's sending me Bitcoin, to an Ethereum wallet, and then it disappears because you didn't know what you were doing. Study the tech. I'll walk you through hand by hand, and like I said, I'm going to create a class that you can take, and you can take that class, get up to speed, and then whenever you're ready to come and swim, you get out the shallow end, and swim with the bigger fish, we'll be here for you, and I'll help you, and this community will continue to help you. Okay. So that's what's going on today, and I just wanted to let you know, what's happening. I thank you so much for tuning in. 200 viewers. I told you something amazing was coming. Trying to get some merchandise going. Trying to, just trying to get out there. Trying to make things more lucrative, for all of us. Because I truly believe in this technology. I truly believe it's going to change a bunch of lives in ways that people cannot anticipate now because they don't understand it. And their lack of understanding is an opportunity for all of us to make some significant gains and progress and change our lives for the better. If you can invest in Facebook 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you can invest in Microsoft 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you could invest in Intel today, Apple, it would be ridiculous. You would be set. You would be good. There's an opportunity. The next Apple right now is in crypto. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being dramatic. It's here, and we can find it. And it wasn't Bitcoin. Bitcoin was just the first level. We have an opportunity now to take it to a whole nother level with some of these other currencies. The digital applications are just being developed for Ethereum, and they're just being developed for Neo. Cardano is just a white paper. There are so many opportunities for growth right now if we can just buy, hold, and focus on the future. Okay, so I'm going to try to get you into those ICOs. We'll talk about that. You want to talk to me about things that you'd like to be able to do with crypto. What do you envision for the future? What would you like to see? And let me see what we can talk about doing to try to do that. I'd like to come out with a coin at some point. I'd like to have some kind of cryptocurrency that we utilize and think about an idea for what that would represent. Once we get enough of us in here, we can we can fund our own project. We can have our own offering. Given, I'll probably have to involve lawyers and we'll have to involve coders and whatnot or whatever, but it's possible. We can create our own coin. And if we can create our own coin and talk about what that coin is going to be used for, then yeah, we can market that to a bunch of people, and then we have the ICO ability. We're in at the ground level. We put that out there. We profit. It's an idea. Thanks so much. Talk to you guys later. Respect Zetek.